with food, shelter and ladies' toilets every 100 yards, i.e. the Punjab in India, you may wonder why I've chosen to come to Northumberland. Well, I do have a certain affinity with this area. As you know, the Punjab was split in two by the British, and Northumberland is also an area which has a history of bloody colonisation and frequent border raids.
Hadrian's 80-mile wall, however, was more phallic than functional, but good for his ego. This has always been a battleground for boys and their toys.
God, the dry cleaning bill's going to be massive on this.
I first discovered Northumberland in high summer and a skimpy t-shirt. Hot as it was still full of anoraks. They flock here for their castles, because there are more here than any other county. This region was both a prize and a pawn in endless English-Scottish battles for succession. In summer, it all looks like Mills and Boonland, but in the winter, you'd have to be a couple of turrets short of a battlement to live here. Sir Humphrey Wakefield is one of the last great romantics. He lives in Chillingham Castle, some of the time, but he also has a centrally heated flat in Chelsea and a mobile phone. So, once I found the spare key under the moat, I dialed him up for a guided tour.
Samir, as you walk along Great Hall, do look for the two great carved marble chimney pieces on your right. They were originally built into a great house called Wanstead House over in Norfolk.
Oh, really?
A wonderful minstrel's hall.
Yeah.
But look down at that huge chimney there. When I came along, that huge chimney was stoned up.
Oh, that's lovely.
Now, Mira, this is daring of you. Up those two small flights of stairs.
I'm just going up the stairs now.
Then into the room where famously the radiant blue boy, ghost from the past, lived.
The radiant boy.
Out onto the roofs and look at the wonderful space around. Careful, careful.
Right.
Look with your eyes upwards at the mountains and love them.
Could you sort of describe them some? It's a bit foggy at the moment. It was the same story at the coast. Back in the summer, I stood here on the quay at Sea Houses and gazed out at Lindisfarne.
The Farne Islands out of season. They have a sort of cold, savage beauty. And the sea looks pretty stunning, but I wouldn't like to be honest.
But wild winters and harsh landscapes also mean less people, more peace. St Cuthbert, who brought Christianity here, realised this, which is maybe why he made Lindisfarne and then Farne Island his spiritual retreats. It seems appropriate that a man famed for his asceticism and self-denial should find a natural home in Northumbria's harsh, flinty bosom. It must have made a nice change from all those axe-wielding marauders, an invader with a Christian message, a knight of God, you might say.
Shut.
I love animals, but they should buy their own hats. Farne Island is now inhabited solely by several species of wild bird. It's an ornithologist's dream.
St Cuthbert found Lindisfarne a little too noisy, so he came here to Inner Farne for a bit of peace and quiet.
If old Cuddy hadn't wanted to mess around in boats, he could have checked out the largest national park in Britain. It's so huge you could walk for days, completely unmolested by anyone annoying in a pack-a-mack and hiking boots. Actually, it gets a bit lonely after a while. I don't know if I'm cut out for all this solitude lark. It's even worse in winter. Not a soul around. I'd imagine some cheery farmer stopping his tractor to offer me a hot chocolate, but it's all four-wheel drive hatchbacks around here. This is actually the least populated national park in Britain. If you want the wilderness experience, you've got it here. But luckily, there are still a few places left you can go shopping.
Baklava?
No, Mum, a balaclava. I bought you a hat. There was this sweet little knitwear shop.
Are you eating properly? You sound so far away.
There's loads of good old-fashioned English cooking round here.
Oh dear, never mind.
No, it's edible. Delicious, actually. The village is dead cute. It's just not like home.
Well, Birmingham's unique, really.
No, I mean, this phone box doesn't smell like a urinal. Oh, Pips, gotta go. Bye! The place to be seen is the Border Reaver, the best local shop north of Oxford, and that's official. Pam Peart, the owner, knows her onions.
We strongly believe in the village shop as an important part of the community. While we're trying to make ourselves really attractive to customers, we're also aware that we need to help other village shops to stay operative as well.
Don't you see them as competition?
Yes, it makes life quite hard when you're sort of trying to support the competition rather than beat it. So what we decided to do was to put on services that none of the others offered.
Mm-hmm. So have you thought about body piercing or foot massage or the alternatives?
Now you mention it, watch batteries was our latest innovation, and they all said, and what are you going to do next?
Well.
Now you give me some ideas.
Well, if I see a sheep with a nipple ring over the next couple of months, I'll know whose fault it is.
You will.
Northumbria's a tourist officer's dream. It's got castles, it's got sea, it's got sheep, but most of all it's got a lot of nothingness with knobs on.
Within this extraordinary wilderness is another place that is so remote, so inhospitable, you're not allowed in without special training and special equipment.
There are still war games going on in Northumbria. At the heart of the national park is one of the oldest military ranges in Europe. The army want to extend their operations. The conservationists have their doubts, whilst the locals are stuck in the middle. Like Hadrian, Colonel Mike Bradley is both soldier and politician.
Do you think that the role of the army has generally changed now in relation to its, to the general public in places like this?
Yes, I think so, very much so. We've got to be much more aware these days. For example, I know the public like to come in here, and we provide the best public access we can. We also got to be much better managers of the land, which we are now, and we look after it, probably better than a lot of other areas which aren't military ranges.
How are you looking after the land?
We actually have to spend a tremendous amount of time on conservation. We have large woodlands to manage. There's an awful lot of wildlife here, as you can see out there. It's very remote and there's a complete wilderness, and there's plenty of room for everybody, and particularly the wildlife. And it's all part of managing a large estate, as anybody would have to do, whether they're in the military or not in the military.
Lit by the summer sun, Flodden Fields doesn't look like a military memorial. Yet it was here that 10,000 Scots and a handful of Englishmen lost their lives. In cold midwinter, it's easier to picture. Everywhere you look in Northumbria, there are constant reminders of its turbulent past. It's ironic that this place, the site of such sacrifice and bloodshed, is so tranquil now. But in a way that's symbolic of the whole of Northumberland. The battles are still going on, although they're somewhat different, and yet it is one of the most peaceful places I've ever visited. Right, seen it in winter, seen it in summer. I suppose I could come back in the autumn, touch up my frostbite. What about the spring? The trees are a lot nicer in the spring. I'm talking to myself, it's all this loneliness. Should have taken this job.